Welcome, welcome, welcome to January's Deal Clinic Live. This is the first show of 2026, so happy new year. I am so enthused for today's show. I know that I say that all the time, but I really am enthused for this one. We will be announcing our first international deals, Dubai. So before I introduce our agents of the month, as always, feel free to drop your questions in the chat box throughout the show, and I will present those to our agents. If you are watching live or on the replay, welcome. All of the snippets from the show will go out to our usual social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where you will find the full recording in about a week's time. If you have any questions, do drop those into the chat box, and I will address those throughout the show. We don't bite, and it's really, really good to build trust and have the ability to understand the actual deal that's being presented to you. Now, if you haven't registered to the website already, head over to sourcinginvestments.co.uk and do so. Okay, so without further ado, our agents of the month today are, we have Ed Prescott, who is a property investment specialist, very hands-on experience in both the UK and Dubai real estate markets. He's actually got over 10 years experience and a proven track record in Dubai and delivering his own residential developments here in the UK. He combines his international market knowledge with practical development insight and is able to add value with high yields and guide our investors through every stage of their acquisition. Now, for Katie Orr is our Dubai-based expert over there. She's an investor herself and is actually an Amazon best-selling author, Property Sourcing Secrets, so feel free to check that out. She's actually got 5 years worth of experience in this industry and has more than a year's worth of experience helping international investors invest in Dubai. So without further ado, please welcome Ed and Katie. Ed, over to you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for the warm introduction. Hi, everyone. As Bonnie said, my name is Ed, and it's a pleasure to be introduced to you all today. And thank you for taking the time out to join us for our very first Dubai property investment webinar on sourcing investments. A bit of background about myself. I've been in the property industry for about 20 years now, between the UK and Dubai. I first moved to Dubai in 2008. Not the best timing due to the 2009 recession. However, I did work for a property developer over there. We owned one of the islands on the kind of world famous World Islands by Nakheel out there. But unfortunately, due to the recession, the company went under. A lot of the projects were shelved, and many people lost a lot of money and had to start again. So I stayed in Dubai. I entered into the local real estate market in the sales and leasing environment, and spent a number of years there, specializing in the downtown Dubai location, where the famous world's tallest building, Burj Khalifa, is located. I then moved back to the UK a few years ago and wanted to concentrate on the UK property investment market, like many of you on this call have experience with. And I did my own sort of refurbs, buy-to-lets, HMOs, before getting into property development and doing sort of small to medium-sized developments in southeast of London in particular. So now I'm currently spending my time between Dubai and the UK consulting for my clients based in the Middle East who want to get into the UK property market, and also my UK investors who are looking to invest into Dubai. So really, where we are today, I reached out to Chris at Sourcing Investments because I noticed that Sourcing Investments is primarily targeting international investors for the UK property investment market. And I really believe that Dubai right now, and has been for a number of years, but more now than ever, due to the increasing population year on year, obviously the tax benefits out there, and it's becoming a more attractive market. And I wanted to bring this to the platform and to the investors who might not necessarily have much of an idea about investing in the Dubai market. We wanted to educate you, inform you of the benefits, and why you should really be having a look at this thriving market, because you're getting significantly higher yields, higher cash flow, more opportunity for capital growth, capital appreciation. As I mentioned, the tax benefits is fantastic. It's really is investor friendly regulation. Not many people. There seems to be a misconception about Dubai developers. It's become much more investor friendly, and I just feel that today we'd like to educate you and give you an overview of the Dubai market in general. And we've got a couple of deals that we can run through with you as well, which I've actually put onto the platform so we can go through that. I'm working alongside some really credible, good, talented agents over in Dubai, and I'd love to introduce you to Katie. I'm working with her closely on a number of deals, and she has huge, vast experience in dealing with international investors and UK in particular, wanting to invest into that market. So yeah, thank you again for taking the time out. And without further ado, Katie, I'll pass it over to you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys, and thank you for the lovely introduction. For those who have not met before, I am Katie. You've given me a great brief and overview already, but kind of my journey into the space. I am an investor. I literally fell into property, I'll be honest. I was actually looking for a property for myself to live in. As I was doing that and on that journey, I started to share my viewings I was going on, the numbers behind deals. And then people started to message me from social media like, hey, this makes a great deal. Could you help me find something similar? So I was like, okay, let's do it. I was actually in IT for a corporate company at the time. And I was like, okay, cool. This sounds fun. So I would then find really good deals, sell them on to investors for a fee. And that's where I started property sourcing. So then one thing led to another. We grew an investment agency in the UK, helping clients all over the world invest in the UK. And then for the last 2 years, I was backwards and forwards to Dubai and had a lot of clients this way, but officially made the move a year ago. We've helped thousands of clients from first-time investors right the way up to professional funds, but every single step of the way is always to try and make it as simple as possible. So hopefully that's what we can do today. Let me see if I can get my screen shared and we'll fly in. How familiar is everyone already with the Dubai market? Are we UK based? If you pop it in the chat, it would be great to just kind of a little check in on the room of where we're at. But let me present what we are going to go through today. Today, we are going to walk away knowing, is investing in Dubai right for you? How to navigate the market to make sure we're maximizing those returns, but how to mitigate the risk to do it safely and securely. Let me see if I can get the chat box open at the same time, just in case I need it. There we go. Okay, fantastic. UK based. Thanks, Mark. Good to know, because actually a lot of my clients are UK based. So you're definitely in the right place. But today we are going to go through kind of the fundamentals, but then we're also going to bring it to life with a live deal at the end. My job, to put it very, very simply, is to save you time and make you money. So let's dive in. And any questions you do have along the way, just pop them in the chat. But I, as I said, speak to a lot of UK investors. I am a UK investor myself. Did that for 4 years. And every single conversation I have, they're having kind of the same issues at the moment. The UK market, it's getting tougher. Costs are increasing, margins are decreasing. The recent new budget announcement, we've got increasing mortgage costs, capital gains, rate increases, increased stamp duty, increased legislation, and every single step of the way, it just seems like it was getting harder and the returns were getting less. So then why are people looking to turn to the Dubai market? Very, very simply, the main reason is better returns. So we can use the same capital, the same strategy. We're still talking bricks and mortar, but by deploying that capital in a different market, we're seeing much better results. So the same capital can work 2 to 3 times harder than the UK. And it's kind of like those two vehicles there. Like both of them are going to get us from point A to point B. Just one's going to get us there a lot quicker. And when we talk about the returns and the actual numbers, capital appreciation on average across Dubai last year was 27.5%. versus we're sat at 4% on average across the UK. The rental average yields as well were sat 8% over in Dubai versus 4% in the UK. So when you're actually sat down with a client, this was a very real example that I was sat down with a client where it kind of like all made sense, is they were looking for an investment. That purchase price was going to be 500k. They were open to both markets. Now, the UK investment, that 500k, was going to deliver them a £20,000 return. Annual expenses out of that, so we want to make sure we're using net figures. We're going to be 4,000. So annually, net returns, they were going to see 16,000 from that 500,000 investment. So a net yield of 3.2%. London investors in the room will probably be like, yeah, that's normal. It's probably considered quite a good yield, to be honest. Then the same capital but deployed in a different market, the Dubai investment market, they were going to get 37,700. The annual expenses, they were higher, 9,700. So your net returns there, you were looking at 28,000 instead of your 16,000 annually. So that's nearly double your net yield, 5.6%. But it was this final line that like genuinely just brought it to life. If your average capital appreciation was set at 4.7%, that 500k investment 1 year later is now worth 523,000. Whereas that same capital at 27.5% was coming out at £637,500. And that's in year one alone, plus the additional rental income that you're receiving. And when you see it kind of like side by side, I think that's when a lot of my clients are like, whoa, this is a no-brainer. Not only are the returns like a massive benefit and why I'm seeing a lot of people move this way, but also benefits. What a concept. It's like a place that's actually incentivizing people to invest here. So first up is the visas. A property purchase over here can qualify you for a visa. So if your property value is over 750,000 dirham, so about 150,000 Great British, and that doesn't have to be full cash, that can be leveraged with a mortgage, that then means you're eligible for a visa. A few benefits that come with this visa: it means you can live in the country for as long as you want, if you wanted to. It doesn't mean you have to. But the one everyone likes and what Dubai is known and famous for is it also means that you'd be qualified for the 0% personal income, capital gains and inheritance tax that comes along associated with being a resident over in Dubai as well. Tenant problems. For my landlords in the room, best believe I can probably assure most of you have had tenant problems. I've had my fair share of weed farms, of tenants not paying on time, arrears, tenants trashing the place. Here, I'd say that's another big difference, is that typically your rent is paid up front for the year. For investors, that's the dream. You've got no rent period, no void periods. So you've got your cash flow upfront for the year. And what a lot of my clients will do is they'll get that in, they'll throw it into their next investment because you're getting it all upfront for the year, which is quite nice as well. Not only that, if you look at a lot of the contracts over here in your standard contracts, the tenants have a lot more responsibilities. So I've just rented out one of my properties in the UK. I had to pay for getting a new tenant in. I had to pay for painting the place just to freshen it all up before the new tenant comes in. Over here, the tenant's responsible for all those costs. So they are responsible for your agency fees for actually moving into the premises, but also any minor repairs. And typically on exit and turnover, they're required to get it professionally cleaned, but also painted professionally all over as well. So your property, it is ready for someone else to walk straight into it. And the outcome for landlords of all those different benefits is that you're actually generating more money, but it's a lot less hassle as well. And 10% off for my UK investors. It's like a January sale going on. This isn't actually kind of true. It is true in the fact that right now the pound is very, very strong. So if we compare it to this time last year, you are literally getting 10% off. Just because the pound right now against the dirham is really, really strong. So it's a good time to get involved. And then when I go through all that, so many people are like, hang on a minute, that sounds a little bit too good to be true. So I have pulled some live deals off the DLD, which is the Dubai Land Department. Everything in Dubai that's going on, all transactions, it's open, it's transparent, so you can see exactly what is going on in terms of your figures. So the Palm, we all know it, we all love it. It's an iconic piece of Dubai's landscape. This was a 6-bedroom villa on the Palm, originally purchased. You were able to get one of those when it first launched for 3 million, and more recently sold for 22 million. And we're talking Great British because I know like a lot of the audience are kind of in the GBP world, but your AED equivalent is sat here for you here. So the increase in value was 659% for this investor, which is quite nice. Another very, very iconic project in Dubai as well. 2-bedroom apartment, originally purchased off plan for 1.5 million, sold for 3.5 million. That's an increase in value of 131%. So the property value has doubled in a 2-year period. And I think when you see that, especially just what you see on social media, the Lamborghinis, the beach clubs, everything else, I think sometimes people are almost put off the market like, whoa, hang on a minute, you've got to be a millionaire to invest in Dubai. And I am here to tell you, like, that is not the case. You can spend as little or as much as you want to. And at the end of this session, we are going to go through like a really popular entry level project just to bring this to life of what a starting point could look like. So why is Dubai booming? Like right now, I don't know whether it's just my newsfeed, but every single day you are seeing more millionaires, more companies, billions and billions of pounds are literally pouring into the economy. It's attracting the biggest companies, top tier talent, and a lot of investment from all around the world. And when I see that happening, I kind of want to know a little bit more. I'm like, why is that happening? Why is Dubai outperforming other markets? Because understanding the past is going to help us to predict the future. And from being here, I kind of put it down to 3 main things. When Dubai really was an oil country. And then they realized, hang on a minute, we're going to run out of oil pretty quick. And the leader at the time changed the vision of the whole city. And the whole vision was to make Dubai the best city in the world. So everything they do now is driven by this one mission. So how they actually make that happen, they know if they want to make the best city in the world, they need to attract wealth. They need to attract investment. They need to attract top tier talent. They've actually got a 2040 plan to make this happen. And this 2040 plan, the list's endless with everything it includes. One of the really important ones for us as investors is they're looking to double the population by 2040. And I'll explain why that's important in a minute. But in order to attract the wealthy investment and top tier talent, they've implemented a lot of things to help bring that to the country. Firstly, the tax benefits. There is an immediate financial benefit for anyone wealthy moving to the country, and that is why so many people are doing it. Safety. what you hear on the news about people keeping their doors unlocked. I can go to the mall, keep my laptop on the table. Like, there is no stress. It tops the charts every single year as one of the safest cities to live. Again, that's attracting a lot of families. Making investment easy. They have streamlined the whole system. They want to break down every single barrier to not actually just like make it streamlined and easy, but actually incentivize it. Like, I am talking as easy as an Apple Pay link, a DocuSign, and the property is yours. You've not got this whole long, lengthy legal kind of solicitor situation. They have really, really streamlined the whole environment to make it very, very easy and transparent for anyone all over the world. And then also incentivizing investments through the visas. The visas unlock so many different benefits across the city for you as well. So they are really doing everything in their power to attract the people that they need to make this vision a reality. And then execution. And this is the one I actually found most interesting, because I come from a place where, like, every 4 years, the parties compete to be number one spot. And then they've got 4 years to turn around an entire country, like make it make sense. It isn't going to happen. Whereas here, what I found is one leadership, they've got this one mission. So everyone's swimming in the same direction, and it allows them to have a much longer term vision, because what other country in the world could have a 2040 plan? Not only that, but they've actually got the financial backing to make it happen, which really, really helps. And also they've got the track record now of delivering. When they say they're going to do something, they do it. And that's from some of the big things like the Burj Khalifa making the biggest tower in the world, to literally the small things. Like, if there's a traffic problem, I've been on holiday, come back, there's a new bridge to resolve it. Like, they are on things and they're executing very, very quickly. So how does that all benefit us as investors? The kind of fundamentals of investing in any asset class always comes down to supply and demand. So when you've got a place that's incentivizing all these people to come into the country, and you can see the growth rate has increased every single year, and the amount of units handed over aren't keeping up with that, that's why we're seeing the capital appreciation soar, because there's a growing demand and the supply is not keeping up with where it needs to be. And I think when people think about Dubai, it's a question I get asked all the time. Well, hang on a minute, will it continue? Am I too late? Is it a bubble? And you've got to understand kind of the fundamentals of what's going on here to understand their kind of larger vision and plan. They have a 2040 plan to double the population. This growth rate is only set to increase. Not only that, Dubai is becoming the most visited city in the world. It had 19 million visitors last year. So when you're looking at the units being handed over, these aren't just going to people who are living in Dubai. These are being bought by investors to help the visitors that are coming, because they're using the Airbnb strategy. So these units are so competitive, and it's just further exaggerating the demand, and the supply is not keeping up with where it needs to be. And the UAE celebrated its 54th birthday, and I think this puts it into context of, like, am I too late? Like, this place, it is just getting started. So there's going to be so much opportunity over here in the next couple of years. Does that all make sense? Good stuff. When I go through all of that, people are like, okay, cool, sounds good. Where do I start? So I am going to run through like how to kind of navigate this market, how are we going to maximize our upside, and then I'll also make sure that we're going to mitigate the risks as well. So without getting all woo-woo on your hair, the real reason I start with, like, before kind of just jumping into floor plans and everything else, is we actually need to understand what your goal is, like what you want out of the investment, because the market here moves at an incredible pace. There's a launch here every 18 hours. Genuinely moving over here, that was the biggest change I had to adjust to, because it's just so fast. And not only are they coming to market so fast, they're selling out even quicker. You've got agents queuing overnight to get their hands on these projects. That is such a huge demand, and that franticness can actually kind of push you and make you make the wrong decision. So I'm always like, hang on a minute, let's start with our goals, because understanding where we want right now, where we want to be, we're going to actually match you with the right project as opposed to making the wrong decision. So if we understand what that goal is, now that might be capital appreciation. You might be leaning into a cash flow yield. Some people are like, oh no, it's a retirement fund. Others are like, it's just something for the kids. So everyone's got a different reason for getting involved. There's no right or wrong, but knowing that is going to help us kind of point us in the right direction. And once you know that, that can then help us kind of navigate the fundamentals. So types of properties, I'm going to start with the basics. It's questions I had when I started over here, so I am sure other people have it too. But apartments, it is good to note, even your apartments over here, they are freehold because you can own the airspace. Now, my London investors are usually cheering at this because in London that doesn't exist. But apartments, you can own the airspace. It's going nowhere. And I was actually in Bali, obviously couldn't stay away from property, and they were talking to me about these investments. And they were like, yeah, but you only own it for the next 40 years. And I'm like, what? And I think it's those horror stories that put people off investing internationally. So I'm here to tell you, the property is yours. It is going nowhere. It's freehold. Language around the other ones as well. Townhouses, it's essentially a terraced house. Same thing. Your twin villas is basically a semi-detached property. It's like two houses stuck together, and your villa is your detached properties. Now, this is why I always start with your why, because how that then affects your investment. If we look at the numbers, last year, your apartments on average increased by 23%, whereas your villas increased by 31.6%. Now, I think the reason for the difference is because villas are in such a short supply, like even more than the apartments, because think about all the people that are moving over to Dubai. You've got business owners, all these types of wealthy individuals. They need to bring their families, they need more space, especially COVID. People were looking for a lot more space, and the demand is definitely not there because it's much easier to make apart than it is 1,000 villas. So we've definitely got a shortage in the villas, hence why the capital appreciation in that market has been stronger. That being said, I think we'll all agree 23% is not a shabby return. But this is why I always say, like, what is the why? What do we want out of this? Because if you're coming to me for maximum capital appreciation, naturally, I'm going to be saying, well, villas are outperforming everything else at the moment. Next up, developers. This one is a little bit different if you're familiar with the UK market, because it's not as much of a thing over there. But developers are who is building the building. They are basically your brand. Are you buying Prada or Primark? It's really going to determine the quality, the material, the standards that these builders build to. Also, are they going to deliver on time? For us as landlords, like, time is money. If a developer's 6 months late, that's 6 months rental income that we've missed out on. So that whole piece of track record and have they got the ability to deliver this on time is a massive piece and fundamental of why we really need to be working with the top developers. Every single developer has a different USP. Some is furnished, some offer different payment plans, different strategies. For example, Emaar, they are a government developer over here. If you've been to Dubai, you'll have seen their name everywhere. They've done Burj Khalifa, downtown, Dubai Hills, phenomenal communities, great capital appreciation. I would only ever recommend them to clients who are looking to make a cash purchase because it's an 80-20 payment plan, meaning 80% of the capital of the entire property is required over the build period. So it's very cash intensive. Whereas if someone's looking to maximize those returns and make leverage through finance, there's different options on the market that's going to help create those stronger ROIs. So every single developer is different. Again, how does this affect your investment? Two developers side by side. One will capital appreciate at a higher rate and offer higher rental yields. I've seen it in a lot of different communities purely because of the demand, because they create a product that people want to live in and they'll pay a premium to do so. And that's why we can really help our capital appreciation as well.
Katie, I have a question. Is that okay?
Fire away.
Mark has asked, if the apartments are all freehold, who is responsible for looking after the common parts and how is that funded?
Great question, Mark. So you are if you are in an apartment, for example, even if you're in a community and there's joint facilities, you will have a annual charge. Now, this is done on price per square foot of how much that is, and that will pay for literally everything from your lifeguards to your cleaning. It includes the building insurance. It includes everything that's communal, like you said, the roof, the carpets, the walls, all the joint facilities. And in Dubai, that every single one of them is going bigger and better and putting paddle courts and everything else. I'll actually show you the breakdown of what that looks like, but you do pay an annual charge that covers all that stuff as well.
That's brilliant, Katie. Thank you so much. He has a second question. If it's an 80-20 build plan, what protection does the investor have if the project doesn't get completed for any reason? Example, developer goes bust.
Great question. What I'm going to say to that one is give me about 10 slides and we cover it, because I'm going to make sure we are safe and secure. But yeah, we go through all that in a minute, Mark. So I'll hold off that. Otherwise, we'll just be repeating. Is that cool?
That's perfect. Thank you, Katie.
Sensational. We'll come back to it, Mark, I promise. Locations is another fundamental, and this is not unique to Dubai. This is all over the world. Your location, like you can live on a road and then there's probably a road 3 roads down that you're like, I wouldn't touch that one if my life depended on it. So locations and navigating that, especially as an international investor, can feel overwhelming. But if you have been to Dubai, you are probably familiar with downtown, Burj Khalifa, the Palm, the Marina. They're kind of like your tourist hotspots because they're completed communities. Now, if you were an early investor in those locations, you have done phenomenally well. I had a friend who bought an apartment on the Palm for £50,000 off plan. That apartment today is like 20x. Like, it's insane. And that is kind of what's possible when you get into an area early. Now, it's not to say Palm Jumeirah and downtown are now bad investments, but now they're completed communities. There's no more land left, so the growth there is now more steady and consistent, whereas the early investors really saw that huge growth. And again, there is no right or wrong, but understanding what you actually want out of the investment will dictate where we need to be looking. If you are someone who wants the safety and security of being in a community that you can go to, you can see it, and you know exactly what it's going to look like, then those are the best places for you. If you're looking to really get into an area early to get the maximum growth, then Dubai is moving more and more south. So they've just announced, well, I say just, last year, announced the brand new airport that's coming to Dubai. This is going to be 3 times the size of the current airport. It's going to be the biggest airport in the world with a capacity of 350 million passengers. It's going to be it's more than an airport. It's an absolute world they're creating down there. And since that, they've kind of shifted a lot of the attention and development this way. They've launched Palm Jebel Ali, which is a bigger and better version of the Palm. So you can see them start to like move this development more and more south. Again, how does that affect your investment? These were the 2 areas with the highest yields and the highest capital appreciation from last year. So the areas that had the highest capital appreciation, it's no surprise these were all villa communities. The top 2 were waterfront villa communities, the second 2 golf course villa communities. Again, that doesn't surprise me because that's a golden asset class all over the world, waterfront and golf course communities. So it's understandable why they offered the highest capital appreciation areas. These areas were very different to the areas that offered the highest yields. These areas kind of sat more inland where the land's cheaper, but kind of strategically placed where the demand for rental properties is high, and that's why we're getting those higher yields there. So again, there is no right or wrong, but that's why I always say start with the why, understand what you actually want out of the investment, because then it's going to dictate and kind of navigate which areas we should be looking at. Off-plan and completed. This is also a good one to touch on. So there's 2 sides of the market over here. Your completed is your secondary. And actually, this is probably the very traditional process that we're familiar with over in the UK. This is where the property is ready. You can touch, you can feel it, you know exactly what you're getting. This is perfect if you are looking for immediate cash flow because the property is ready. Typically, you're going to see some higher purchase fees in there because you've got the title deeds, the agency fees. Whereas your off-plan side of things, that's known as your primary market over here. So this is where it's not built yet. You're buying into a payment plan for something in the future. So 70% of the market actually sits in this side of things. Typically the cheapest time to buy because you're getting in early directly from a developer. So a lot of people prefer this route for the capital appreciation side of things that offers payment plans, and it kind of falls in a great order for the visa. So for clients who are actually looking to maybe move over here or getting a mortgage, kind of like a chicken and the egg, your purchase qualifies you for a visa. But in the completed side of things, if you get your property purchase and then get your visa, one of the benefits of having your visa is you're then eligible for preferable mortgage rates. But you've already got your property at that point. Whereas the off plan kind of falls in the right order of you can secure a property today, you can get your visa set up during the construction period. So then when it comes to handover, you've actually got your visa in place to take advantage of the preferable mortgage rates as well. So I know we went through a lot there, but kind of just some key things to think about when you are going through this is start with your why. You're just going to have an easier time. It's going to save you a lot of time when you are looking at all the different developers. There's like 2,000 different projects at any one time. That's going to help you to then dictate which locations, developers, whether it's off plan or completed, and then also the type of property as well. Also, a side note, you do not have to navigate this alone. That's what we do every single day. And Ed is always on hand if you want any more help navigating all of this, because that's when we can really start to understand kind of where you are right now, where you want to be, and suggest a few options that might work for you. Okay. So we touched on how to maximize the upside. Best believe we are definitely going to make sure we mitigate the downside. And go through everything else on that side of things that you need to be aware of to make sure we're doing this safely and securely. Because a question I get asked all the time is Dubai a safe place to invest? The short answer is yes, because Dubai has created an environment where they know their vision for the future. They want to be the best city in the world. They know in order to do that, they need to attract investment. The only way they are going to attract investment is create a watertight system where it's transparent, where it's open, and where it's safe, because one horror story is really going to have a bad ripple effect to the whole market over here. So a few things, and Mark, this is exactly what I mentioned, so this should help, and any other questions we can follow it up. But anything that goes on over here in Dubai is all done on the Rest app. So whether you're a tenant and you're getting your tenancy approval, whether it's a property purchase, you can control the whole property cycle and watch your build as the building is taken place. Everything that's going on in Dubai is in the Rest app. And in order for a project to launch a new development, it has to be approved on this Rest app to start with. And if it's not on this Rest app, don't buy it. Okay. So in order for it to be registered on the Rest app, it has to go through all the official checks. Firstly, that they own the land. Sounds simple, but over in Manchester, I literally saw developers launch projects and they didn't even own the land yet. It's going to make sure they've got all the planning, all the approvals in place, that they've actually got the funding to do this. So they are checked that they've got the cash required to make it happen. Not only that, they're required to put skin in the game. The developers have to put 20% down into an escrow account that they don't get back until they've completed on what they've promised as well. So they're motivated to get this done. On that, escrow accounts is really, really important. And this is something a lot of people don't know. But when you are buying off plan done properly, you are never paying the developer directly. You are paying an independent third party. It's actually the DLD, the Dubai Land Department, into their escrow account for the project. The developer doesn't have access to your funds until they have completed on what they have promised. So that's kind of that level of protection in terms of your cash, that the developer actually can't get access to it until they've delivered on what they've promised. The Rest app is also going to be the place that you're going to be able to monitor the progress. So you'll be able to see, are they on time, where they are on the project, the timelines, the land, everything like that as well. So you can download that. You can have a good nosy at everything that's going on. It's a completely free app, but everything that's going on is in there. Then you've got the RERA in place. So your RERA is your real estate regulatory agent, and they're part of the DLD. Basically, they set the rules and make sure they're being followed. They're like the police of the property world over here. So they're the ones in control of this app. They're making sure all the checks are being done, making sure you're safe and making sure you're secure. But then I say, like, we're going to triple lock this. So Dubai do everything in their power to make it a very safe and secure environment on that front. But we can also, as investors, choose what we invest in. And that's why I always say, work with a gold level of developer. That you can go down to their previous projects. You can see what they've delivered on. Did they deliver on time? To what quality? How have their previous projects performed? Making sure we're investing with a team that have the vision and resources around it to make it happen. It's kind of like going to Starbucks. You know, anywhere in the world, you're going to get a good cup of coffee. It's going to be hot. They're going to deliver it quickly. And it's the same thing over here. Working with the very, very best is going to give you another level of safety and security because you've seen everything that they're doing already in the market today. And on that topic, this is a really great example. I said we're going to go run through kind of like an entry-level product. And I'll explain to you kind of all those pieces of the puzzle that we've brought to actually bring this to life. Because I think, like, we're all investors, right? We get a floor plan, we get price points. We typically have to go through the whole Dubai market for everyone to understand what's going on here to see if it's possible. But then I'm like, okay, well, let's bring it to life with a real example. So hopefully this will kind of help you do that. So Imtiaz, in terms of their track record and history and following on that conversation, Imtiaz have been in the market for about 14 years now. Before they were actually a developer, they were a contractor. They were doing all the buildings for some of the biggest developers in the game. So they had a contractor background. Then they were like, hang on a minute, why are we making everyone else money? Let's actually become the developer themselves. Now, that gives the brand great credibility because it means they control everything from start to finish. So you know the projects that the brochures that they're creating, they actually deliver on it because they're doing everything from start to finish. Also, their projects typically actually arrive ahead of schedule because, again, they've got the teams, the contracts in place to actually make it happen. Now, they are known for creating a product that is like their unique selling point is fully furnished. So when I say like fully furnished, everything you see in this photo is included, which is actually quite unique for Dubai. Usually it's like white walls, but here all the furnishings, all the fittings, all the wall coverings, all the lighting, chairs, tables, everything is included. And that is why typically their projects actually receive higher rental yields, because imagine a project just handing over and completing. When your unit is compared to the building next door, which is a white wall, renters all day, every day are like, no, I want to live in that one, and they're going to pay a premium to do so. So that's why their investors are very well looked after. They're very popular products, and investors actually keep coming back for more. So let's just run through an actual deal example. The location of this one itself, this is kind of like Imtiaz's entry-level point of what this could actually look like. So location, really, really important. It's actually sat in this section of land here, the Dubai Land Residency Complex. So when we're looking at the fundamentals, Dubai do a lot of things right. Traffic accessibility is a big problem. So it's definitely something that you need to look out for when you're looking at projects. But this particular area, it's wrapped around 3 major arteries of Dubai. So you're super accessible by car. You're actually 15 minutes away from downtown on a traffic-free, toll-free road. And they've got a metro stop coming in just down here, which will connect you to the rest of Dubai. So in terms of accessibility, definitely ticks that box. Then in terms of like when we look a little bit wider than that, you've got the Academy City on this side of the road. Now, Academy City holds Dubai's biggest universities, academies. It's actually growing in size. It's got 30,000 students already, and that is always growing and always expanding. On the other side of the road, then you have Dubai Silicon Oasis. Now, this is the tech hub of Dubai. You've got 20,000 registered businesses in there already. And DLD is the closest residential area to all of this. So in terms of the types of people that will be renting in this area, it's going to rent out all day, every day because of the accessibility and everything else that falls around it. Now, in terms of your numbers, dive in.
Sorry, just before we go into the numbers, Free Spirit, I love that, by the way, Free Spirit has asked a question. What's the top 3 Dubai locations to invest in, please?
Okay, great question. I would come back at that question to be like, for what? And not to be awkward or difficult, but it depends what you want. Kind of like the graph I showed you there, like the 3 best investments for yield is very different to the 3 best investments for capital appreciation or future growth. So kind of there's so much going on, and literally different communities throwing up every single day. You've got a lot going on now in Dubai South because of the new airport, but equally your beachfront, you've got the capital appreciation. Okay, so capital appreciation, if you are looking to kind of take advantage of that, looking at the numbers, your villa communities always are outperforming everything else. So the villa communities in terms of your, and especially your golf course communities. So you've got a new area, Jumeirah JGE2, which is an extension of JGE1. That at the moment has got a lot of launches coming up this year. I would definitely highlight that as an area to look at. I mean, capital appreciation there last year was over 30% in JGE1. We've had the whole buying life cycle. So again, everyone's slightly different, but definitely if you're looking for the capital appreciation, we've got the villa side of things. The other side of that would be waterfront as well. Your waterfront, again, this isn't unique to Dubai. This is all over the world, always outperform everywhere else. The 2 areas at the moment that are new to the waterfront are your Maritime City, your New Palm, and your Dubai Islands. They're the 3 areas right now for your waterfront. And then outside of that, you've got the villa communities. And that's probably the strategy I would take if you're looking for maximum capital appreciation, as long as the budget allows. Obviously, everyone's slightly different in this situation as well.
Yeah, and I would also like to add, Katie, I think the Dubai Hills estate, for a lot of the reasons you've just mentioned, is also one of the prime areas to invest in Dubai, being a golf course estate, villa community, capital growth year on year, and very, very centrally located between sort of downtown Jumeirah and the marina. Very popular with expats, the expat community, rental.
I love that.
Yeah, so I think Dubai Hills Estate has got a lot going for it, and of course it's developed by Emaar, the top tier developer in Dubai.
Yeah, definitely gold standard of developer, and I think that kind of just highlights that everyone is. Yeah, I love Dubai Hills too. I live here. And that kind of just highlights, it really just depends what you want out of it and where you are right now, because budgets is definitely going to dictate which locations to be looking at, but also your end goal. Like, do you want capital appreciation? Do you want your rental yields? Like Emaar, Dubai Hills, I love it. I live here. It's fantastic. For someone who's looking to leverage as much as possible, it's an 80-20 payment plan because it's Emaar. So again, that's where like your personal situation will then dictate, okay, well, which developers do I want to be working with? Which do I not? Especially for the shopping. Yeah, it's got the best mall. So yeah, this is actually a great example of a developer that would do a more flexible payment plan. As I said, this is kind of like probably an entry level point with those guys. It's a studio in that area that we just spoke about for 690,000 AED with Great British conversions just here. Now, every single developer will offer a different payment plan, but typically what you're going to see is kind of a booking deposit. So in this example, it's 20% upfront to secure your unit, which on this purchase price is looking at about the guts of 29,000. Then your DLD. So your DLD here is your equivalent of your stamp duty. It's a flat 4% across whatever you buy in Dubai. Then each developer, again, is different, but typically you'll see a small admin fee on there for all your booking forms, your payment links, and everything else across the build period. And that's £1,000. So all in on this unit to secure and book something like this, you would be looking at £35,000 down. Then you are popped into a payment plan. Again, this one, everyone's different, but 5% per quarter or £2,400 per month. And that's paid over the 2-year build period. Then your final 50% is due on completion of the property. You wouldn't pay that until the property is complete, with the keys are ready and you are ready to go. And that final payment is mortgageable. So you don't actually have to make that payment. You could always get finance to make that final payment if you so wanted to do so. So that's what we're putting in. But what are we getting out is more important and more exciting, I think. So this developer has had a great track record. They have had hit after hit. They've got a lot of inventory now in the market that we can actually pull live deals and live data from to understand what this could look like. So they have just handed over on a very similar project, which is great for us as investors because it means we've got kind of a starting point when it comes to the numbers around a project. So studios in this project that they've just handed over on, you can see here, I pulled it live from the DLD of what people are actually currently paying to move into that property. 65,000 AED, 68,000, 59,000, 70,000 AED. This is all on a studio. So sub that in. I've been conservative, 60,000 AED annually for your rent on this particular studio, about £12,600 per year. Your service charge. So this is what I mentioned earlier. When you're looking at all the facilities, all the amenities, the paddle courts, the pools, your concierge service, the reception, the security, the lifeguards, everything. In this building, 13 AED per square foot. So on annual basis, that's £1,600. So your net yields, you're looking at the guts of 11,000, a 7.5% yield. Now, I would say this example, it will be conservative. You saw some of the rents that people are paying there, and that's for a building, and this new building will have better facilities, better amenities. It will be in 2 years' time. So typically, rents have been increasing at 10% a year. But I'd always prefer to be conservative. I'd prefer to under-promise, over-deliver. So if we were even just looking at the market today, then we're looking at least a 5.7%, 7.5%. That's one side of the equation. So let's just jump on the capital appreciation. Running this example all the way through, this project that Imtiaz have just handed over on, investors were getting in with them on a studio for 100k, and they're selling them now at handover at 150k. So that's a 50% increase in the 2-year build period. But where the payment plan really comes to life is actually when you look at what your cash in versus your cash out. Over that build period on the 50-50 payment plan, you're only putting 51 in, but you're getting out 100k. So that's where the return on cash invested is 100% over that 2 year. You're basically doubling your money, which is quite nice as well. And then, Ed, I don't know whether you just want to bring that example up just so people can see what it looks like.
Yes, I will do. Share my screen now.
Because I fall in love with the numbers, but you really should see the projects because they are actually beautiful as well.
Yeah, so this is the one bed that we have in Cove Edition 5 by Imtiaz. You can actually find this on the Sourcing Investments platform under my profile. There's a few deals on there, but this one in particular, I think Katie's going to talk about now.
Yeah, so this one in particular, it's in that area that I spoke about in terms of opposite Academy City, next to Silicon Oasis. The types of tenants you're probably going to see in here, they are your either students, your teachers, the people living and working in Silicon Oasis. In terms of renting this out, this will definitely be very, very popular in terms of your rental. And when you can, and this is what I say, like the importance of the developer, when you compare it back against what else is in that particular location, nothing compares to the quality and the end product of what these guys deliver. And this is why I kind of picked it out, is because not only are you getting the benefits of the location, the facility, everything else, but actually working with one of the top tier developers, their experience, their track record, we typically complete ahead of schedule. And the end quality of the product, as I said, their investors keep coming around for more. Their projects sell out on launch day because a lot of the investors now have had that life cycle with them where they've doubled their money in the 2-year period, they're ready to go again. And I think that's a really good sign when investors keep going back for more. So you've got all the facilities, the gyms, the co-working spaces, which is all included in that service charge as well.
Yeah, so obviously all the information for this particular unit is on the Sourcing Investments platform, and we can secure this for you if that's the kind of investment you're looking for. Typically, as Katie mentioned, it's such a fast moving market and they do sell out very quickly. So if it's not this particular unit, there will be other units or other developments within the same location.
Perfect. Thanks, Ed. I'll just share my screen, but we can definitely then jump into some questions. So Chloe was an example who bought in a project just like that. She was a mum, another on the way. She was a business owner in the UK. She wanted something she could just literally set and forget, throw like the money from her business into this Dubai project that's then accumulating the capital growth. In the meantime, when it comes to handover, she's looking to rent it out. So it's been a very, very popular product for clients, and that's why it was just a good one to highlight and go through. Sam, another investor that I've been working with for a while now, but one of his first purchases, we were going backwards and forwards on a few things, and then this one came up in the market, and it was a 2-bedroom plus study, purchased for 400k. In 5 months already, they're already being sold at 527,000. And the project isn't even built yet. It's not even near handover. So you've seen 30% increase in that time alone. And that's kind of just demonstrates what is possible in the Dubai market. And when you kind of combine that concoction of the right developer in the right location with the right demand, that's where we can really see that you don't want to just, Dubai market is thriving. When we look at the numbers, like over 20% on average last year, but there was projects that were delivering more than that. There was projects delivering less than that. When you work hard for your money, you want to make sure we're maximizing that. And that's why I love to just run through those fundamentals of like making sure that we buy right, just so we're maximizing the returns and getting what you want out of it, because every single person is so different. And there's so many different options. I mean, there's a new launch every 18 hours. We can't go through them all, but if you do want any help kind of navigating that, that is what we do. So if you would like to book in a consultation, we can definitely do so. Speak to Ed. He will chat you through everything. Actually take the time to understand where you are right now, where you want to be, and kind of bridge that gap with the best project. Equally, if you're not kind of there yet and you need help with the finance side of things, the visa side of things, anything else, we can kind of point you in the right direction, because it's kind of a team sport when it comes to property. Like, you need all the pieces of the puzzle to fit in before we can even look at the property sometimes. So yeah, if you need any help with that at all, then you're definitely in safe hands and we can help you navigate it all for sure.
Brilliant. No, thank you, Katie. Really appreciate that, running through and educating the audience there. I think it's important just to note that, when you're investing in another country, obviously it can be quite daunting, but nowadays Dubai, it's just, as Katie mentioned, it's just seamless, and we can actually handhold you throughout the whole process. You don't have to go to Dubai. I mean, obviously, of course, if you want to, take advantage of the sun. But yeah, it really is a fantastic place, and we're here on hand to guide you, to educate you. And look, any questions, just reach out to me. We can book you in for a call with Katie and to go through all the options. And it's all about finding out what your goals are as an investor, what your why is, and how we can help you. So yeah, we're really, really looking forward to any questions you have, and excited to get you started on this journey of Dubai property investment.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Katie. I'm going to bring it to a close. Honestly, I could run this for another hour because we've actually got two deals that we were going to present. But to our viewers who are live and to those of you who watch the replay, feel free to drop me an email at bonnie@sourcinginvestments.co.uk. Let me know if you would like to see another episode Dubai special, because Ed and Katie have already got 5 deals on their estate agency within the platform. So, as mentioned, I think a deal every 18 hours, did you say, Katie?
There's a new launch. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So, let me know if you want to have some more information. I've dropped the link to Ed's window where you can contact Ed and Katie as well. Ed will be able to share the Calendly link where you'll be able to book in a consultation with them both. So again, Ed and Katie, such a information-packed episode. I would love to bring you back for another episode so that we can actually run through the deals now that we have that information with regards to Dubai. I have to say, from a personal perspective, it was so lovely to see that presentation. I didn't even know about the REST app. So the fact that that is there, and to know that there is so much regulation to protect the buyer and the investor, it really does give peace of mind. So I'm really grateful for just that one nugget in itself. There were so many, just for that one nugget in itself. But thank you so much. Thank you to you both for your time, your energy, and your presence. And thank you to all of our live viewers who have come and watched and shared this episode with us, and to all of you that watch us on the replay. As I mentioned, this recording will be uploaded to our YouTube channel in about a week's time, and I look forward to seeing you on the next show. Thank you so much.